Hi, everybody. I'm Scott Micklin, the general manager of KSJE, the public radio station in Farmington, New Mexico. We're very excited to be able to do some virtual programming for the Aztec Highland Games and Celtic Music Festival. Joining me to talk a little bit about the festival is the founder of the Aztec Highland Games. John Cater is joining me via Zoom this morning from his home in suburban Albuquerque, Rio Rancho. John, good afternoon, good morning, good to see you.
Yeah, it's good to see you. It's good to hear your voice again, Scott.
Yes, well, I know normally you'd hear it booming across the field at the Riverside Park in Aztec, but this year we're enjoying a virtual Highland Games, and it is just the way that things need to be in this crazy year of 2020. But I wanted to sit down and talk to you a little bit about kind of the impetus for putting this all together, because you were one of the driving forces, if not the driving force, behind this effort. 10 years ago, 2010 was the first Highland Games. Can you talk a little bit about what got you thinking that way?
Well, it's actually interesting because it goes all the way back to 1988.
Oh my, okay.
When I first arrived in San Juan County, New Mexico, I was driving around trying to get to know the place, and I saw this sign in this little town of Aztec. The sign said Riverside Park, and I thought, I wonder what that's about. And so I pulled in there, and as I got out of my car and walked onto the grassy field there, the very first thought that struck me is there needs to be a Highland Games here. And I thought about it, and I got ideas together for it from then until I was able to find the exact right group of people to pull it off, which was in 2010.
Wow. And so the makeup of the park was such that it just kind of lended you to start thinking about putting on an event like this? The big open field and the big cottonwood trees, of course. I mean, if you've ever been to Riverside Park, you know what John Cater's talking about. But is that kind of what you pictured?
Absolutely. Just beautiful games right along the river, and the big field, and I think if you talk to the athletes, they would agree that field is perfect for Highland Games.
Right. Well, it certainly has grown into its own, I think, in the ensuing 10 years, and but it took you some time then to get that right group of people, I guess, together, the movers and shakers, as it were, to put all the moving parts together to make it happen in 2010.
That's right, and we all kind of ran in similar circles, and then ended up kind of just hanging out together, and having a Friday night libations.
That can help sometimes.
Yeah, exactly, and so now that's at that point. I think it was actually mid 2009. I was speaking with Jessica Pilati, and she said, "Well, what about these Highland Games? Let's get them moving." And it happened to be in a kitchen where everyone was on board with it.
Nice. Well, and of course, you need more than just a couple of go-getters to put this all together. I know the city of Aztec has been a major driver in making this successful, of course, with Riverside Park, and a lot of other the committee members, because the games were more than just the games. From the very beginning, there was music, and there's been vendors and clans and all the other things that make up this event, right?
Absolutely, and that was really the vision that I had for this, because I wanted a very broad spectrum of attractions for people to come and enjoy, whether they're of Celtic heritage or not. Come see the Highland dancing, the Irish step dancing. Come see the vendors. Come join in the music celebrations, and of course for people of Celtic descent, and there are a lot of them in the Four Corners. This was a great central location for them to come and really partake in the games.
Very true. Well, and there's a lot of folks here, as you mentioned, but still, we get a lot of folks that do kind of make this a destination to come to the games, whether they're a vendor or a performer or an athlete or what have you. they come in from all over the place and set up shop for those 2-3 days and take over Riverside Park. Now you're a musician, so you played part of those roles as well, right?
Yes, I did. Yeah, we were on stage several times over the years, and it was great being on both sides of that audience, and the music portion of it was for me really very fulfilling, along with the games.
A great outlet for local talent and also some imported talent too, because I know some of the headliners have been internationally renowned musicians.
Indeed, they have been, and every one of them would love to come back.
Well, we look forward to having them back, I think. So that looks great. Now, we've heard you sing, but we never got to see you dance. Was that by design?
Yes. Yeah, this doesn't dance.
I see. Know your strengths is the lesson there, I think. Very,
That's right.
Very good. I want to ask you about the athletes, too, because this is a big deal. And when I got involved with the Highland Games, I think back at the very first one, I was blessed to have been invited to take part. I didn't know a lot about the athletes and the actual Highland Games of this. And there's a lot of folks who are training year-round to take part in these things, and they travel around to the different Highland Games to participate. This is a big deal.
It is a big deal, and as part of that, I'm very, very happy that a sort of a spin-off group from the games has been the local athletes. They put together their own group, and they travel around to games all over the place and distinguish themselves. They do very well in these games. And yeah, there are international Highland Games players, and
right.
It is a big deal, and it has a very long tradition, and every one of the events has its own history, which is very cool.
Very cool indeed, as I learn more about them, too, and my participation with the Highland Games. But they all seem to rotate around a similar theme, and that is of throwing heavy things into the air. Is that an accurate description?
Yeah, I think that's a pretty accurate description, yeah.
Okay.
We'll go with that.
Right.
Including giant tree trunks.
The caber toss, exactly.
The caber toss.
It's amazing, some of those things. We were showing some pictures just a few minutes ago of some of the athletes doing that, and again, open to men and women to participate.
Absolutely. Really, the only thing that you have to have is interest. And I'll tell you, the lady athletes are amazing.
Very true. That's very true. And they're in training just as hard as the men.
Absolutely, they are.
Very good. And so in the 10 years it's come on, I mean, I know you've been back when you're able to and visit and seen it hopefully grow. I think it has certainly grown over the years. It's got to make you feel good as someone who was there at the very, very beginning, and even, as you mentioned, before the beginning, to kind of picture what Riverside Park could be.
Yeah, and you know, it is growing and will continue to grow, I think, as these games become better known across the country. More participants will sign up for them, and of course, you know, it's getting vendors in and all of that aspect is a huge boon to the economy. I'm very proud of these games, and very, very, very proud of the team that, you know, we couldn't have, it never would have happened without the group of people that got it off the ground and then stuck with it.
Very true, very true. And we were talking before we started recording this interview today about kind of the size of the city of Aztec, and that a lot of these events are held maybe in locations that are a little bit bigger in population, but you reminded me that there are also places that host a Highland Games and a festival like this that are smaller. So Aztec seems to be kind of fitting right in.
Well, it does, and we can't forget that it's not just Aztec. It's really people from the entire Four Corners region. come and enjoy the event.
Very true. And it is, I think, a committee filled of people from also outside of Aztec as well, isn't it?
It is, absolutely.
Very great. But of course, you couldn't do it, and I know the other organizers will be with us to talk a little bit about the sponsors and the businesses that step up each and every year to help put some of the funding together to attract some of these bands and entertainment and just make the festival to happen.
Yeah, it's an amazing partnership with the various businesses, and their support is incredibly important.
Exactly. Now, some of the things that have come out of this festival, John Cater, we've got now an Aztec tartan that has been put together, which is, I think, kind of exciting for folks. There's certainly been a lot more, I think, education about the clans and the families that live in this area and live around in the Southwest who come and represent their clans, and just a better appreciation of the heritage, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. I was tickled pink when I heard that the Aztec Games kilt had been approved in Scotland.
Right.
I hope that we can get a bunch of people together and we can get several of them made. And yeah, I mean, this is the other aspect is education and outreach. You see a lot of kids at these games, and it may be their heritage, or they may just be there with their folks enjoying the day, but there is a lot to learn. There are people there who put on seminars, or they just wander around and are happy to talk to you.
Right. True.
It's a very family-oriented event, and I'm certainly very supportive of any of the educational things that go on within the games.
Very true. I was just going to talk about kind of the family nature of this event, that it has kind of got something for everyone, and I think that's, again, by design. There are certainly things for the adults, but there is a really concerted effort to make activities and things available for kids as well.
Right, and that's, this is the thing is we want everyone to have fun. We don't want mom and dad to be living it up and then the kids just be bored. So we offer things like in the past we've had a kids tent where activities for kids go on in a supervised manner. We have kid games where instead of tossing a wooden caber, they're tossing carpet tubes.
Right, the cardboard carpet tubes. That's right.
Right, and there's a sort of a treasure hunt where they go around to the various booths and ask questions, and once they fill that book up, they can turn it in for a prize.
That's right. That's very true. Well, as we kind of look to the future, John Cater, what do you think 2021 looks like? A bigger and better Highland Games and Celtic Festival?
Absolutely. I have no doubt about it. The vendors that I've spoken with in the last couple of months, I do stay in touch with a lot of them, and they are adamant about coming back to Aztec in 2021. I really hope to see the local bands do well. It's been a tough year for musicians and artists, and hopefully Aztec Highland Games 2021 can help alleviate some of that for them.
Very true. Well, we're all looking forward to it, but again, we couldn't let 2020 pass without getting you on the air and thanking you for all your efforts of putting all this together and see how it has grown over the past decade. It's really been amazing to watch, amazing for me to be a small part of this, but thank you for all of your efforts.
Well, it's my pleasure, Scott, and you are a huge part of this. don't sell yourself short.
Well, I certainly try to put in my share, but really, thanks to you and the other founders that put this all together and had the vision, because that's a big part of this. And I know there were probably some times when you just wondered why you were doing this, but it has paid off, and we definitely appreciate it. All of us do. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. I appreciate it.
You bet. Thanks, John. That's John Cater, everyone, the founder of the Aztec Highland Games and Celtic Festival. My guest here, this is KSJE.